and I'm in a bit of a precarious situation because I don't even have my tripod anymore. It's all gone. As you can see behind me, there's nothing left. There's the Parkers, and there's my Moog, which I'll take with me everywhere, like a little baby. I'll pamper it. And as you can tell, I've been busy. I haven't even shaved for today. I know I'm always trying to be presentable for you guys, but it's out of control. But anyway, we're here, and please do stop by and say hello. Let me see if everything is working, because I'm actually doing it on my phone again. So I apologize if the sound quality is not as great, and I'm using my front camera because that's all I got, really. But anyway, thanks for being here. And in the news today, well, next week I will still try to be on, but it will be probably from the new house. I don't know if I have internet already hooked up, so it might be something very quick. And hopefully the following week we'll be able to start again. And as always, Tuesdays it's one chord a week, so you'll still be able to watch that, and that's scheduled and recorded and edited, so it's all uploaded, ready to go. So every Tuesday you'll still get your chords, and I think we're kind of getting into the the more complex and advanced chords now. So I think it will be fun. Please let me know what you think. I know some people watch those videos religiously. Some people skip a few of them, and YouTube sometimes helps out a video, and sometimes it doesn't. I really think that it's extremely important to watch those videos and learn from them. Let me just see if my audio is coming through. Yes, everything is working. So that's it. That's my suggestion for the summer. Go through the whole series of videos, watch all the chords, learn them, because they're really important. So as a matter of fact, some of my students, as homework during the summer, will have to watch all my videos, which is kind of a torture in itself. But that's how comfortable I am with them. Meaning how useful they can be for a guitar player, no matter the level. Because sometimes I go back and watch them, and I remember things that I said in the videos that I recorded quite a while ago, and I still kind of figure stuff out, and I have things to go over, in my practice. So anyway, that's my advice, and hopefully I'll be able to be back with the live stream soon. Again, I will try to be here next week, and maybe the following. August is going to be a bit more complicated, but I see you every Tuesday anyway. So I see you guys are coming into the chat room. Please do join the chat room. Let me know how you're doing. And again, one more week we're gonna go without looking at the lick from the free book 21 licks. I still suggest you check it out. It's in the links below here. It's a free PDF, and you can use it as a companion to my alternate picking and legato book, or just by itself is completely free. As a matter of fact, if you guys could try to click on some of these links and let me know, because I moved them to tiny URL because Bitly was being a bit fussy about how people were able to access those links depending on the browser. It was a bit of a pain in the butt. So I moved them over to tiny URL, at least for some of the new videos. Please maybe hit them and let me know how it goes for you. All right. And that's it. So today I will just answer your question. If you have anything you want to talk about regarding guitar, music, anything at all. I know some of you had some questions about the financial chapter we did a while ago. So feel free to ask about that. And that's it. So please pardon the mess behind me. It's not how I usually do things, but it was either this or no video at all. So that's it. While I wait for your questions, because with no questions today, there's going to be no video. I have nothing prepared, not because I'm lazy, but because there's really nothing I can do here. I got nothing left. And even my sound card, it's all gone. Everything is gone, and OBS is offline. Nothing's working. I don't even have my tripod, so I'm balancing my phone on a little, what do you call it, a music stand. And it's right by the quarter of an inch or less. If I screw up just a little bit, the phone will fall off. So anyway, prepare your questions, please. In the meantime, what can we talk about? Well, actually, by September, I think, I will have the new studio ready. So I'm going to make videos of the whole thing, how we build the studio, how I feel it with stuff. I will do whole new sound design thing. So I will do all the conditioning. I will do myself, and like here, but I will do it a bit more advanced for the new place. I will give you, if you want to know about it, I will give you the width, the height, the depth of all the treatment. And I will build it starting from ideas that I have from this studio, everything I learned here. The dimension is going to be a bit different for the new studio, so we'll do a little bit of adapting to it and adjustments. And anyway, I'll show you how I hook it up, where I'm going to put in the microphones, where I'll put the amps and the synths and all that. So if you want to check that out, that should be coming by September, I think, when hopefully they will come over and fix the downstairs area where the studio will be. And that's it. So I'm kind of hanging on your questions now. I'm kind of waiting for them so we can get this thing started. Please don't be shy. If you're new here, join the chat room. There's a bunch of people who are always here and they're very friendly and helpful. And oh yes, somebody asked me last week about the Parkers. Why didn't I take? Well, everything is safe in Madrid. That's where I'm moving to. And so I could have just taken the Parker with me and brought them over to Madrid and left them there, but I just can't do it. I can't leave my Parkers 10 days by themselves. And so what I'm doing is next week when we're moving, I will be getting into my car, lower all the seats, and actually load up the Parkers and the Moog One and my speakers. You see those speakers back there? Those are my trusty Neumann speakers, and they're my favorite speakers that I've ever heard. And those will be coming with me in the car. So if I crash my car, not only will I die, but I will destroy all my best gear, because all the best gear I got, it's here with me and I will drive it myself. So fingers crossed that none of that will happen. And but that's why I didn't take the Parkers with me the first trip. And I wanted to show you some pictures. I can't. So we'll leave that for later. Hello, Jenny. Moving to Madrid. I was looking forward to visiting Barcelona. Oh, well, you can still come and visit. You can still come and visit. Barcelona is beautiful, and you can come to Madrid. Madrid is actually a very beautiful city. It's just different. One thing I think I won't miss, and it's part of it is part of the economy here, but the tourists, there's too many tourists in Barcelona, and they've been trying to curb that a little bit, but then the economy suffers. So Barcelona is really cool. It's a beautiful city, but I won't miss all the tourists, and the area where I'm in Madrid is very quiet. It's full of green, and it's kind of is a very I'm very lucky to be able to live there, and so it would be cool. Oh yes, one like you. I know nothing. I mean, I travel the world and I'm a tourist pretty much everywhere, but the tourism in a place like Barcelona is a bit different because it's like Venice, right? You go to Venice, and it seems like the city is built for tourists, and for Barcelona, if you live here and you see how the city gradually becomes this Disneyland for tourists, then it's not a great feeling, so that's what I mean. Nothing against tourists, of course, because I'm often one of them, but the city itself should maintain its own integrity, right? You go to Milan, and Milan doesn't feel like a tourist city, and it gets a lot of tourists, and Madrid too. It just doesn't feel like it's built for tourists, which is something that I'm kind of tired of. Hello, Manuel. Good to see you. No topic today. The only topic today is that look at me. It's like I'm sitting here within 4 empty walls, and this is the last video we'll do from this studio, as a matter of fact. So it's kind of a sad occasion, because I will miss it. I will miss this room. This is still gonna be my school. It's still gonna be going on. I'll be able to come back whenever I want, but this actual room will not be my studio anymore. And so it does feel a little bit bittersweet now that I'm going to build a new one, because I just barely finished. A few months ago I said, this is it, I'm done. Finally I have my studio ready, and now I've taken it all down. So, but I think it will be good. Gentrification makes all cities lose its appeal. Yeah, and you see it everywhere, and it's a tight balance, I think, if you run a city, because it does bring, for the economy, tourism is great, but if you live here, we live right by the beach too, so between May and September it gets a bit tiring, all these tourists, and then also all the commerce becomes tourist orientated, right? So you have a lot of these little rickshaws, the bicycle thing everywhere. You have Old restaurants you knew, old bars you knew, they all get replaced by these big chains. Small stores, they get eaten up, and then you have like 1,000 supermarkets. What do you need all the supermarkets for, right? But they pop up at every corner now because people get home and they're late, and maybe they want to buy some beers, or they want to buy some food for their rented apartment, and they go there. So there's like supermarkets everywhere. And the stuff you need and the stuff you really want in a city, it's pretty much gone. So Madrid in this sense is different. It's more built for the people who live there, but you know, in no way is it better or worse. The other thing, I've been here 17 years. That's too much. You know, I never lived in a place more than this. So it's time to move on. But still, it's a beautiful city. We'll be coming back. You know, it's not by train, it's like 3 hours, so it's not too bad. Congratulations, all the best in your new. Thanks, Manuel. Well, you'll be able to see it soon. I'm moving actually very soon, in the next few days, but the actual studio will be built once we get some. We need to do some work on the house, and so I will have to wait until the end of the summer, and then I'll be able to slowly move stuff in, and I will document it, as I was saying earlier, so you'll be able to watch it. I don't know if was anyone here when I asked. Could you please just click on any of these links below here? You know, on the books, or you know, whatever it is, as long as it says tiny URL. If you could just do me that favor and see if it works, because we were having problems with the what was it, Bitly. We were having problems with people trying to download the books and the 21 lick book, and they couldn't get it. So if any of you could please just click on a few links and let me know if it works. You know, the albums or whatever it is. Same thing happened down Tempe, Arizona. Got way too expensive and changed even the local music scene. Yeah, you see, that's the problem. Like, nothing against tourism, but you see it. You know, you see when it gets too much, you see it, and it kind of detracts from the whole experience of a city. You know, if I'm a tourist somewhere, I don't mind. You know, I don't want to go somewhere and have the city I'm visiting trying to fit in with my expectations, or what they think are my expectations, right? You want a city to be itself, and the people of the city to be themselves, and you hope to get a feel for what the city is actually like, right? So that's what I want in a city, and I want that if I live in a city and I get a lot of tourists, because you know. Manuel, you just downloaded it again. Well, thanks for checking. So it seems like it's working. Yes. So if you're new, you can get all the stuff below. You can do all kinds of stuff, and do it from these links here. It should work. And also, I don't know, maybe I should talk about it. Somebody was asking about the Patreon thing. You know, we've been going back and forth with this. I've been letting it go for months. Maybe next, you know, at beginning of the new year, so to speak, so September, October, I will try to set something up very fair and still very inclusive to all people who can't afford to do it. All right, so just something to keep the channel going, basically, because it takes so much time. But yeah, I'll let you know all about it. So if you have any questions about guitar, if you have any questions about practice, you know, this will be a good time, because I was almost not gonna do the video today just because I couldn't do anything really. But I still have my amp. I dropped my pick, but I can show you a few things if you want. Yeah, this is a small Vox practice amp, so, but it should be enough. Hello, Alex. Good to see you. Look. See that? It's all gone. You were saying that I was being lazy. Now it's all gone. Hope you're happy. And so now, we were just talking about it, so I won't repeat myself. But yeah, Alex, I'm just about to leave in a few days. What do you mean it looks great? It looks like shit. Look at this. There's nothing here. But soon we'll set it up again. Yeah, so thanks anyway. And again, if you have any questions, let me know. By the way, we're at number 56. It's a long time. 56 is probably, well, we started this, yeah, just about last year with we were all confined at home, and it's incredible. The diffuser, that's actually what is it called? Polystyrene, the little white foamy thing, very light. I just airbrushed it, and it kind of looks metallic in a way. But that's probably staying here. You know, I'm gonna try to build my own diffusers when I get to Madrid. This will be later on, way later. But I will try to build them. I found in an old book I have on sound control. I have a formula for setting up diffusers, right? They're called Skyline Diffusers. These down there, and you can see they are these little squares and different lengths, and that diffuses the sound. So the sound hits them, and it hits them at all different places in time because of the different lengths, and then it gets scattered. And so those are foam and they're very light. So I think they work okay, but I was really hoping to get something a bit more, you know, weighty. And so I will hopefully try to build them out of wood. Probably end up cutting my fingers off, but if it works, it should be pretty cool. I will try to document all that, and that would be certainly after the summer. Wood, yeah, that's the thing. You find wood that is the right, not diameter, but you know, the right size, and then you can calculate how many you need of each length. And as long as you don't go too low in frequency, with 20 centimeters, 20, 21, 22, you're fine. You know, you can get away with a lot. And you don't even need to really worry about scattering sound in the low frequencies, because it's probably better to go with absorption for that. And all my bass traps that are down there, those are also gonna stay. They're gonna stay here, and I will build new ones. So if I can, I will document that and at least take some pictures while I do it, and then I'll show you. But it's gonna be a pain in the ass to do that. But anyway, that's what it's like. Yeah. So what else? Was there any news? No, that's it. August, I probably will be here just a little bit, and I will still try to do something. Do you play fingerstyle or only pick style? I do some fingerstyle, but I'm not a finger style guitarist. You know, I dabble with it. I play classical guitar decently. I'm not no master at that, and so you know, I adapted to the electric guitar. Just a while ago, actually, I demonstrated the what do you call it? The Planet 9 lick. Manuel, you say you already have the PDF. So one of the licks is called Planet 9, and and that's fingerstyle, because you actually are running different lines at the same time. It's not just me going meh, 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 you know. I'm actually worrying about different registers, kind of a small orchestration actually. So for that, fingerstyle is great, but because I'm not 100% proficient with fingerstyle, I'm always kind of trying to figure out a way to play what's in my head. So I probably wouldn't be a great improviser with fingerstyle, but you know, I can get away with it. Yeah, but mainly I played more of a classical flamenco guitar. Poorly, you know, I'm not poorly, but you know, I'm not a an expert, so to speak. I don't I you know, sometimes people say, oh yeah, I play flamenco guitar. Well, I wouldn't go as far as saying that I play flamenco guitar, but I have dabbled with it. You know, I go by hundreds of hours, so I probably spent a few hundreds of hours on it. But to me, proficiency comes in at the thousands of hours. So you see, just to give you an idea. Oh, you just Googled Moog One? Yeah, it's crazy expensive. Yes, that's actually the wooden synth. You know, the synth with the wooden case that was sitting right here, usually in the old videos. That's I got that a couple of years ago, and that was a crazy adventure. I wasn't gonna get it, of course. Then the opportunity presented itself to be able to do it, and so I said, okay, I'm gonna spend it on that, and it's incredible, but it's certainly a once in a lifetime thing, because you know, because it's crazy expensive, but it is a beautiful instrument. But yes, yeah, I know. Sometimes, you know, you know, that's the thing though. I have bought in, you know, you see me here in the studio, and you see all this gear, but I'm actually quite frugal as a person. I don't go out and spend money on stuff I don't need. You know, I'm not a guy I'm not really into, you know, luxury items. I don't have jewelry. I don't have an expensive car. So you always see me kind of in this bubble of the studio where everything I got seems like a great expensive thing, like the monitors and the guitar. Well, the guitars, anyway. You know what I mean. But the Moog One was still, even if it's a studio thing, it was kind of scary to go out and get that. But I haven't. That's the thing, though. I've never regretted spending it, which says a lot because it's very expensive. But yeah, every time I look at it, I'm like, oh my god, I have one. I'm so lucky. But when you really hear it, it's an incredible sounding thing. I play with it every day. Manuel, oh yes, I know. Yeah, that's right. You're a Baroque classical guitar player. Well, maybe you should. Do you have a channel? We can check you out. Are those Manuel? If you have a channel, please let us know. We'd love to hear you. I mean, I would, and I'm sure most of us would. So share your channel if you have it of you playing classical guitar. I'm sure we'll really enjoy it. As a matter of fact, for Baroque music and classical, I'm more into. I play piano now. I've decided 2 years ago that I would be a piano player, and I've been spending about, I don't know. Speaking of thousands, I'm approaching maybe the 2,000 hours on the piano now, and so I'm kind of feeling now that I can do a few things. As a matter of fact, just a few days ago, I was composing something for a short movie, and I was composing on the piano, which was kind of amazing for me because I've only been playing for 2 years and I feel like a useless, I'm like an amateur. But yeah, so a few hundred hours will get you anywhere. But please, Manuel, share your videos with us. Mark, hello, Mark. Are those yeah, they're not that great. You don't need much. Yeah, you know what? These are the amps. Let's see if I can do it without dropping everything on the floor. These are the amps. Yeah, because I have a music school. These I have a few of these here, but I also have a few of the Roland Microcube, and those are way better. So if you if you're looking for something small, I would probably go with the Microcubes because these Vox really, they don't sound too good. Sorry to say, Vox, I love a lot of your stuff, but these amps are really not that great. And the other thing is, at home now, while I had my studio here, now I'm gonna have my studio at home, so I probably won't need it as much. But I have a small the Katana Mini. Is it called the Mini Katana? They're pretty cheap. They're about $80, something like that. And those are great practice amps. I have them. I have it always with me in the house. So on the couch, in the bedroom. As you can tell, as you can probably guess, my whole family is thrilled with it. But I always have it with me, and it sounds pretty good. It sounds actually very good. So Mark, I would probably go with the Roland Microcube if you can find it, especially the old ones. The old ones you can probably get for like $50 secondhand, and I think they're even better than the new ones. So yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. So the good thing now is, well, not now, but in a few months when the new studio is ready, it's gonna be actually in the house, and so I'll be able to just go downstairs or upstairs depending on where I put it, and then just play. And I can play with my gear, and like, if any inspiration strikes, I don't have to probably record 1,000, and I'm up to 1,200 voice memos on my phone. So hopefully now I'll just be able to go downstairs and record. I just play without an amp most of the time. I'm too lazy. Well, that's why the Katana would be a good thing, because it's really small, and I got some rechargeable batteries, and they last for a few hours. And so sometimes I play without an amp too. It has its advantages, actually. If you play without an amp and you do some exercises, it's really hard to hide behind the sound. It's hard to hide, there's no compression, there's no echoes, because I always play with an echo. You hear that? Yeah, I love echoes, but you can kind of hide behind the echo a little bit. Echoes are like your little friends that are there to help you out. Take that out. Compression, any of that, you take that out, and it really helps playing without an amp. But what I found with students, if they play without an amp all the time, they get terribly shy when it comes time to play. They have a hard time understanding the guitar with an amplifier. I don't know if I can explain myself, but they start playing like this. I go, well, because I'm really big in improvisation, so all my students have to be able to improvise and play their whatever they learn. They must play with it. I'm against collecting information, as you can tell. I'm really against collecting chords, scales. That's my problem with YouTube. I get a lot of YouTube students now, and they've been growing up with YouTube, and for no matter how great it is, they get with all this scattered collection of stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, no, you don't have to teach me this because I know it, right? I know Dorian. And like, right, great, perfect. That's any teacher's dream, because then you can move on. But I tell them, okay, well, let's just hear it. Let's hear the chords. Let's hear the sound of Dorian. Please, improvise over this little chord. And they can't, because they know it, but they don't know it, right? But anyway, playing without an amp, what I found is students that play without an amp all the time at home, they end up playing like this. They're missing out on the nuances, because when you practice like this, right, it's really hard then to understand how the guitar how would these two notes sound together, right? It's impossible. They just sound like this. But when you put distortion, you can vibrate, and you can put them in phase, out of phase, right? You can do all that, and your ear just can't pick that up while you are without an amplifier. So Alex, you don't need my advice the way you play, but anybody out there who plays without plugging in, do it, but don't overdo it, because part of the playing the guitar is really about interacting with amplifiers and interacting with sound. The reason I'm in such an uncomfortable position now, resting my guitar on my hip, is that I have nothing left, and I don't even have a tripod anymore. I mistakenly took my tripod to Madrid, so it's sitting there doing nothing, and I'm here balancing my phone on a music stand, which is just this far away from falling off. So if you see me do this in a very uncomfortable, awkward looking pose, I'm not trying to be cool. It's just that I'm a bit dumb, but I don't have any gear left. Yeah. So how about everyone else? Are you playing with amplifiers at home? I've just about zeroed in on a Fender guitar. Way to go, Jenny. Went to guitar shop and looked at Squires, looked way too cheap, then look at Fenders. Trying to justify it. Well, I always very careful to get into the financial of other people's, but I don't know your situation, but if a guitar, if you enjoy playing, a guitar is going to be with you forever. So price is really not a big thing for me with instruments if I know that I will use them, because if I play piano 2 or 3 hours a day for 2 years, right, that's already what, about 1,500 hours. Now divide that for whatever price I paid for it. Usually it's only 2 years, right? In 10 years, I would be paying cents per hour of fun and enjoyment. So with instruments, if I am going to use them and if I need it, then I don't look at the price too much if I can afford it. But the, what do you call it? Other times, if something else will do, then I will. For example, my 335, the Dot, the black 335 guitar, that's an Epiphone that's about 300 euros. I put some really good pickups in it, and it's one of the best sounding guitars I got. I feel no need to go out and get a Gibson. You know what I mean? So I'm open to both things. But if it motivates you to, like the Moog 1, right? The Moog 1, I was really getting into synthesis. I was getting into piano playing. I was studying orchestration, and my vision of it was something different than regular orchestration. And so I said, you know what, this will inspire me to do it. And not trying to justify or making you spend money, but plug it in and interact with the sound. I practice acquisitive and need to ramp up my game. Well, then a good guitar and a good amp will get you there. Guitar is the best thing that has ever happened to me. Sounds corny, but it's really the only thing I get excited about. Music in general. I use a small amp at times, all right? Cool. Yeah, well, the guitar is beautiful. And it does sound chordy, right? People say, what do you do? Like, I just play all day. And there's nothing better. But yeah, I think the only thing that's better than just playing is recording. So when I got really heavily into recording, that's when because you can create these worlds. And if you don't want to let them go, you can kind of, um, you can, you know, put them into reality, right? Forever. That's what a song is when you record it. So to me, that's part of the magic too, recording. The studio upstairs will be better because of irregular room walls. Yeah, you don't really need to worry too much about that. The wall, yeah, some of the ceiling actually would be um, tilted, but I think downstairs is easier for isolation. I can probably make it a lot easier. I need a technician to come and study the room. Luckily, a good friend of mine is an architect. I still have to pay him and the acoustician, but he will get me somebody who knows what they're doing. And probably downstairs is a place to be. Also because during the summer and the winter, it's not gonna change too much. The temperature. So probably it's gonna be downstairs, and then upstairs you can leave it for the rest of the family, because you know what, there's a limit to what you can do. But really, I could do it upstairs too. I'm kind of waiting to go and live there for a little while and see the temperature mainly, but also the noise levels. It's a very quiet area, which is great. But then when I start making noise, then everybody will hear it, because there's no noise ever. So I need to be careful. And sometimes I like to go downstairs, or come here to the studio or whatever. I do it maybe at 1 or 2 in the morning. So I wouldn't want all the neighbors hating on me just the first week I'm there. I have an Epiphone from the 70s. All right. Well, that's the Epiphone from the 70s, probably a different kind of Epiphone. So maybe you don't need a guitar, Jenny, right? And you're practicing acoustic. Yeah, acoustic is so difficult for me. I'm a bad acoustic guitar player probably. I use acoustic as like a help for my regular guitars. So a lot of my songs have some acoustics on it. Maybe there's a little bit of soloing, but it's nothing crazy. I should probably practice acoustic more. People ask me what I do in my days off, and I tell them stay home and play music. Some don't get it. Yeah, yeah. Music is a strange thing, right? But one thing that I always felt about with music is that it is true that you do it, you do it, you do it, but then, except for the enjoyment of the moment, then there's kind of nothing left, right? And you can't quite share that. Hopefully you all know about it, right? But it would be cool if everybody could just, if we could kind of pass along from our brains to theirs the feel that we get when we play music, right? Because people who don't do it, they don't know about it. They don't know what it's like. And so to me, recording and being able to record music and being able to hear something in my head and go, okay, if I want to put that down, I can. I can come in here and I can build this castle of sound, which is really nothing, but it's air, but it is magic air, right? It's air that can take something out of nowhere and put it out there, and it will kind of you know generate different feels and different sentiments in different people, which is kind of magical. And so to me, recording, it's what really ties it all together, because sometimes I'm sitting in my studio or at home and I'm playing and I stumble upon something I enjoy, and I kind of wonder, what's the point of this, right? Why it's fine, you have fun for a few minutes, but then what? And recording lets you take it a step further, and then it's there forever. And especially now, you don't even need people to buy your CD. They can still find it. They can find it here on YouTube. They can find it on the streaming service. So that's really cool. I just bought Bach Complete Sonata, so I will be easy learning and practice. Wow, that's beautiful. So you're playing the flute part with the electric guitar? That's what I did in the very beginning, because in the very beginning, I thought that I didn't know enough about melody, and so I said, "Who knows about melody, right?" And I thought, well, Mozart does, and Bach and Beethoven and Wagner and Sibelius, all these people. And luckily enough, I lived in Milan, and in Milan there's this big store called Ricordi, which is right next to the Scala Theater. It was, no, not next to it, but a couple minutes walk. And so they were very well stocked. They had an upstairs area where they had all these scores of pretty much everything you could ever think of. And so I would go there with my AC/DC T-shirt, and all that, and there was all these, much better, more presentable and composed people there, even people my age, but they looked like they were 40, and I looked like I was 12, and we were both 15 or 16. And so I would go there and look in the bin where the out of print stuff was and all that, and I would just buy everything that kind of had to do with the solo instruments, so flute, solo violin, anything that could be easily related to the guitar. So I stay away from piano because I didn't know exactly how I was going to be able to adjust a piano thing to an electric guitar. So I was going for the melody, for the soloist part. And I found a lot of stuff there. There was a point where I actually transcribed the whole Four Seasons, which is kind of crazy. And I did the flute sonatas also, and the lute sonatas by Vivaldi as well. And I found it to be very important, because when you play melodies, those melodies, you're like, oh, okay, now I get it. Your ear gets tuned to it. Music is magic hair. Yeah, I think so, isn't it? From what I see, your lead licks tell the story. You seem to get lost in the narrative. Well, thank you. And accompany with guitar where piano or keyboard is. Learning to read music is a must. Well, learning to read music is, what I learned? I learned because I felt inadequate, which, I felt like, wow, all these people know all this stuff and I know nothing. So I'm just going to learn how to read it. But in the end, it really helps. It's like theory. I've done a lot of stuff without theory and I was doing fine, but just if people ask me, it's like, why not? Why wouldn't you want to know it? It's about curiosity, and then you don't even need to worry about it. I don't write music thinking of theory or thinking of how things look on the page. But if last night I was writing something on the piano and I wrote it down on score on partiture, what do you call it, a score. I wrote a score for it and I left it open if I want to add more instruments. So I like it. I enjoy now being able to relate to music as a language instead of just as a feel. So yes, I think reading music is I don't know if it's a must, but it is certainly an extra help. Yes. I decided to record myself on my phone and it sounded awful. I need to keep practicing because psychologically it makes me self-conscious. Well, recording is a very important thing. And Mark, you can play perfectly, but once you hit record, you make mistakes. That's funny. You probably have to record more. I see it in once in a while. People ask me to help them produce their music, and so sometimes I take them to studios and I stay with them just as a producer while they record. So we avoid them recording 50 times something that sounds good on the first one, or letting things pass where they should be working more on them. And it's true, they have a hard time with it. And I think a lot of it comes from a lack of confidence and a lack of authority with your instrument. And that only comes from the more you do it, the more comfortable you are with it. One thing that really helps is not to do it only by yourself. So once in a while, if you can go out into a real studio with real musicians and an engineer, whatever it is, and kind of put yourself on the spot, put yourself on the line there, because at home it's so safe and you can screw it up 100 times so that walking the rope, that's very important. It's very important. So Jenny, if you want, you can just record yourself often, or maybe you can send yours to friends, but start sending the stuff out there because it will raise your awareness. Basically put yourself on the spot, put yourself in a bit of an uncomfortable situation. It really helps. That's how you get better. Always play one little step above your level. Always try to always be a bit uncomfortable. I think that would be my advice. Can you elaborate a bit on playing guitar by yourself? When people know you play music, they'll ask you to play some. Oh, yes. Oh, man, that question is perfect. because well, let me continue with your question. The solution I come across so far are jazz comping to play melodies with chords or a bit of Hendrix. Yes, well, that is a great question and difficult to answer. But for many years, I think I said this before, but for many years, I had a phobia of people knowing that I played the guitar because I was in a band. I'm talking my teens, and I was in a band already a few months, maybe 1 year after after buying my first guitar. I was in a professional situation, and I was terrified every time I was at a party or I went for at a music store. I mean, music stores were like hell for me because everybody, were quite known also, and sometimes people go, "Oh, play something. You're in that band. Play something." And now it's even worse, right? But now I don't mind because what I did, I was just terrified of people asking me to play, and so I would just, play the guitar and maybe do. Oh yeah, I like this guitar. Really, it's as bad as this. But one day I sat down in my house and I said, you know what? Are you or not? Are you a guitar player or are you not? Are you a musician or are you going to be a musician or are you not? Because if you are, then you are. It doesn't matter where you're at. If you're at a music store, if you're at your house, if you're at a friend's house, if your guitar or any guitar is something you can master, then you should master it and you should not be afraid of it. And so what I started to do is said, like, one day to the next, I decided that I was going to uh, treat it as an actual musician. And so I would go to a music store to try out a guitar and I would play. And I would go to somebody's house, and if they had a guitar, I would say, okay, just put something on and we'll jam to it. And I just put myself on the spot, as I was saying earlier. And in just a few months, well, even less, because I think I did have the skill already. I just didn't have the confidence. And I decided that it was enough. It's really that simple. It's a bad answer because it's probably not going relatable to you, but I decided one day that that was it. I said, oops, drop my pick. I said, I'm a musician, I'm ready, and if I'm not, I will find out. But I'm not gonna find out sitting here, being afraid of picking up the guitar. If you can only pick up the guitar in the comfort of your own house and of your own circumstances, then that's something you have to work on. And so, when I started doing the live songs a while ago, I don't know if you were here already. I'm sorry, I have my, I don't remember exactly who was there, but I would just start the streams and stand back there and play a live song. And it is not the most comfortable situation, right? But you're always putting yourself in a bit of a mess, right? In a bit of a sketchy situation. I find that incredibly important. And there has to be a price too. Don't do it at home like, oh yes, I'm sitting here playing by myself. No, you have to put yourself out there, and you learn a lot by doing it. It was a game changer. Recording, oh yeah, that's a great. The college has a great music school here with a recording studio. Wow, look at that. Yeah, Jenny, go there and just play to your strengths. Also, like if you're a good rhythm guitar player, or if you're whatever. But at the same time, just always push it a little further, and you'll see. You'll thank me later. So you're studying music, Jenny? Did I miss anyone? But Jenny, on the phone thing, as I said earlier, I have just since I bought this phone, like about a year and a half ago, I have 1,200 voice memos. So you get used to it. The first time you hear your voice, I'm like, oh my god, I sound like an idiot, right? And you make a video like, look at you, all these other people on YouTube, they're all, they have these beautiful voices and they have the beautiful lighting, and they have all the stuff prepared, and you look like a bum and this and that. But you get used to it, right? You do 2 or 3 or 4 or 10, and you're like, you know what can I do, right? And it's the same thing with guitar. It's the same thing. The first time you hear yourself, even singers they play live all the time, they go into the studio the first time, they go crazy. Like, that's not my voice. What did you do with the microphone? I want my microphone. And I sound much better live, just because it's all out there in front of them. And one more thing, if you are recording, You will learn if you're careful, and maybe you if you're in music school, I'm sure a good teacher, Jenny, will guide you through it. But you will learn how to listen to your performance in a different way. So you will be able to almost separate the person who's playing, right, you, right, from the person who's listening, which is also you. And these things are not separate; they're like this big cycle, and your awareness is always kind of moving toward that axis, right, toward that circle of I'm hearing what I'm doing, but at the same time I'm playing what I want to play, but at the same time I'm hearing, and at the same time I'm focusing on the physicality of it. And you will learn that with if you're in, it sounds like you're in music college, so find a good teacher there who will teach you how to do it. It's a pretty fine thing, but a good musician, and if you're in music school, I'm sure there's plenty in your school. A very good musician who's accomplished, who's done a lot of live work and recording, he will know, or she will know how to teach you that, or at least give you some good pointers. Playing recitals was the worst for me, but it sure got me from being afraid to play in front of people. Oh yeah, I started that very early on. It's a pain in the butt, right? But then at the same time, you can't stop. Every time before a show, I'm like, oh, this is the last time I'm gonna do it. you know they didn't pay me enough, and look at this, I'm taking all my gear, and somebody's gonna steal my Parkers, and then you get on stage and you're like, you don't want to get off it. So that's another thing you learn. You learn to your mind will just be zen throughout. Something bad happens, it doesn't matter. Something too good happens, doesn't matter. You play your show. And I think, as always, you have to put yourself out there, Manuel. I think you're right. You started voicing in the 80s. Now I'm 60. Old hippie chick and punk rocker chick and 90s grind, and you got someone who's been around the block. All right. Well, I don't want you guys to feel that you have to share, but it's good to know. So you're 60 now. Well, so you probably have such great ear for everything. You've been listening to music for 40 years, right? That's another thing I always tell my students: trust your ear, because you're a music lover. You listen to records, no matter how young you are. Even if you're 20, you probably listen to 12 or 13 years of your life. You listen to music, even longer, because your parents probably put on music before you were aware of what it was. And when something sounds good, right? And when something sounds right. And I find that very important. So being able to trust your ear, sometimes you just need somebody who says, you know what, trust your ear. You know what you're doing, because you've been listening to music your whole life. And that's one thing I find with students. You hear them and they play like, I drop my pick, but they play like this. Who wants to hear that? They don't like it, but they still play it. Why are you playing that instead of? I don't know what I was. You know what I mean? The same notes, I think, more or less, but play them how you want to hear them. Don't separate the guitar player from the musician or from the music lover. They're the same thing, and if you can do that, it will be such a huge jump in quality. Another thing that happened, you might have noticed how stiff I am. Loading or unloading the van when I moved the studio to Madrid, I think I pulled something, and my neck is like stuck like this. So I can't really move up. I couldn't get out of bed today. I slept really well, and then I couldn't get up because something here is like something broke or something. And so I'm hoping to get better soon, because I can't really move too well. All right, so if you have any more questions, I'll be happy to help you. And I always end up being here on Saturday. By next week, I'm not sure that I'll be able to make it, but I will try. When I practice the modes, I try to make it sound musical, but arpeggiating the chords. Yes, Mark, whatever. Basically, it's this. Whatever you want to hear, play. That's kind of what the rule is. If you don't hear, like I ask my students, does that really sound compelling to you, what you just played? No, then why are you playing it? You know, don't waste your time. Don't worry about my time. You're paying for my time, right? If you're my student, but don't waste your time. Don't waste your time at home. Don't waste your time when you practice. Don't waste your time when you're trying to enjoy the guitar. Only play what you want to hear. If it doesn't come out right, that's fine. You don't like what you hear, but then you try again and try to approach what it is you want. Don't just play to move your fingers. It is what is like the best thing in life to me then and now. Well, Jenny, I think you should take advantage of your musical knowledge, because I'm sure you have a lot of it if you've been listening to music for such a long time. You know, just go out and make music. Don't worry about pretty much anything. If you stumble upon things you think you should know and you don't, then you study them. You know, if you feel that your technique is not great, do that. But in the meantime, just make some noise, and I think your ears will tell you when the noise is good. Nice chat. Always nice to learn from you. Yes, same here. It's good to talk to you guys. And yeah, so unless you have any more questions, I'll get back to packing the few remaining things I have here. And in a couple of days, I'll load them into the car and off we go to Madrid. So this is the last video from the studio. The good thing is the 1 chord a week videos, you still be able to, you know, they're a bit of a time capsule, because it will still, they've been recorded long before I took it all down. So sometimes when I watch those videos, I feel bad, but they will be coming out all the way up to October, I think. And they were recorded in this room. So this room will kind of live on for a little while, but this is the last time I will talk to you from here. So we can all go and cry now. I will, as soon as I hang up. But anyway, thanks for being here. Sorry about the conditions that I've been doing these streams in. I understand this is not very professional, but it was either this or nothing. So I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for being here on a Saturday as always. And if you're new, please do stop by again. Saturday, 6:30 p.m. Central European Time. That's when we get together. And it usually looks better than this, and it's a bit more organized. All right, so don't judge me on today's stream or last week's. This is just an extraordinary situation, which will pass very soon, I hope. Yes, yes, Jenny, you're all saying goodbye to the studio. So, but you'll be able to watch it again very soon. And in the 1 chord a week thing, and it will live on. That's a beautiful thing about YouTube. It will always be there. And I took some pictures, as you remember, I showed you guys. All right, so I will share the new space soon enough, but not yet. You know, we still need to get some work done on it. All right, everyone, have a great week or rest of the weekend, and be safe out there with the virus, because we're almost out of the woods, but not yet. And I hope you can travel. I hope you can have a great summer, and I will see you out there. All right. Thanks again for being here, and see you soon. Bye bye. Let's see if I can stop this without dropping the phone.